Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Artist Expressions with Alma Love. My name is Jennifer Lyons. I'm sorry, I will be your host today. Please help me welcome the great sounds of Potential Jazz Ensemble. All right, all right. Let's give it up for Potential Jazz Ensemble. Wow, what beautiful tunes. Hello there. Tell us your name.
My name is Melvin Arterberry Jr.
Hi, Melvin. How are you? It sounds like you are playing these keyboards right here. So tell me, Melvin, a little bit about yourself. When did you start playing the keyboard?
Well, I started playing when I was 8 years old. My mother played piano, her mother played piano, so I guess it was in the genes. I started playing classical piano, and then through school I played saxophone. I played jazz on the saxophone while I was playing classical piano. And I didn't start playing jazz on the piano until I relocated from Los Angeles and came up here to attend Stanford University. And that's when I started playing jazz on the piano. And upon graduation, I was a full-time musician for a short spell, playing for singers in San Francisco. Back then, they had the cabarets around the city. I don't know if people remember that. Little small cabarets, and I did that for a while, but then I realized I needed to make a little more money. So I got into the business world, and I got away from playing the piano. But I got back into it with the assistance of Jesse Norfleet, the drummer. They started groups around Stanford and the East Palo Alto area where I live. And I got back to playing, and around 85, a little bit before, we were playing, supporting other functions and other musical productions as a house band. And we decided to combine the band and the members and try to play full time. We all had jobs on the side, and that was around a little bit before 1985. So we've been doing it off and on ever since, and we've had a number of members, and right now Paul Collins has been a long time member now on bass and joined us. We do have a saxophone player, but he's the only one that's really a quasi. Well, no, Paul's a full-time musician now. He'll tell you about it. But he couldn't make it today, so we keep on moving ahead.
So, what musician was instrumental in you starting this?
It, in my career, I loved Herbie Hancock, McCoy Tyner, classical side, of course, Andre Watts, and some other musicians. I love classical music, Rachmaninoff. I love his melodies, Tchaikovsky, and some current composers. But I've been influenced by a lot of musicians, and I've been fortunate to have seen a lot of them live. You know, now it's a little different because they don't have as many jazz venues where you can see a lot of musicians in small clubs. But and I do believe that music is the universal language. It's the language that everybody understands. So I still enjoy playing, and I always say there's no more beautiful feeling than when you're playing with an ensemble, a group of musicians, and you have a sense that we're all on the same wavelength. That is something when we're listening to everyone and the interplay amongst the musicians. But I'll stop because I can go on, and I know you need to move on.
Well, thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Hello there. Hi. Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Paul Collins.
Paul, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Doesn't get much better than playing music with these guys.
All right. So tell us where you're from.
I'm actually from Oakland, and I'm not going to tell you when, but it's been a while.
So what is your inspiration for starting to pick up the bass?
Well, I actually started the bass at 21, but I played music since I was in kindergarten, and 21 was just a few years ago. But the real inspiration for music comes from, I think, listening to music, and just the greats. When you get that feeling, and you know that somehow art has been transferred across to your brain, and then of course I wanted to do that, not realizing it was going to take me down this path of no return. But I think it would be better if we could get a little more support for live music. But it's all about capitalism and what makes money. So that's what it is.
Well, we thank you for bestowing us with this wonderful sounds that you have right here. I appreciate you and thank you again. Excuse me. Hello there. Please tell us your name.
Jesse Northfleet.
Hi, Jesse. What inspired you to start with the drums and the percussions?
What inspired me? Wow. Well, originally I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So I grew up with family members, family and friends. Everyone played gospel music. A lot of gospel stuff happens back there in the South,
Yes.
as you may know. So I had a cousin who played the drums, and one of my best friends in high school was a drummer, and he still is. He plays with a lot of rock bands now. Played with the Barcades for a while, but just growing up around them. So I was into music and just loved music, and there was something about the drums. Probably in my mind, it was the easiest instrument to pick up. So I decided I was going to be a drummer, not thinking that it was also the most difficult instrument to transport. It has lots of parts and a very expensive
Yes.
instrument. But I just, it was just something I heard a lot of the rhythms going on. And then when I met Melvin, actually I had been out at Stanford. We both were Stanford students, and I got involved with African dancers and drummers, and just so it was always the rhythms that I heard that it just felt like I wanted to do that. So I became a drummer.
Okay, so when did the band start? What year did the band start?
The band, okay, there's some couple of things there. I think we first got together to start playing sort of as a jazz workshop. It was 82 or 83, but we probably officially became a band around, closer to 85, 84, 85, where a friend of, we had been doing the workshop thing, just a lot of guys who wanted to work together, do some jazz, and a friend heard us. We had played at maybe something at Treseder Union at Stanford.
Okay.
And a friend heard us and asked us to play at his wedding. So we had to come up
Alright.
with a name, and then we became, so it was basically a friend's wedding.
Okay.
So the first gig was one that we didn't get paid for, but it made us decide, oh, we're a band now, okay. So
Well, that's great. So, what musician has influenced you throughout your career?
wow, there's so many. I mean, most jazz musicians. The first jazz musicians that was probably John Coltrane. That's probably the biggest musical influence for me. I don't play saxophone, but even just the people he had in his band were people that I was really intrigued by. And then I'm also, growing up where I did, a lot of blues musicians. In addition to John Coltrane, it may sound like a stretch, but Johnny Taylor is my other favorite musician of all people. Johnny, so, but just hearing that kind of stuff, the blues, a lot of blues stuff, that the R&B stuff that sort of came out of that rockabilly sound, Memphis sound, and I'm even an Elvis fan because he basically took a lot of the R&B or the stuff that was happening in Memphis. So.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We're loving this sound. And can you give us some more of it?
Sure. We can maybe
Yes.
come up with something here.
All right. Thanks again.
you.